Yeah. Good to see you. Oh, we got. Well, we got to do some praising. Dion, she's mine. Hey, Dion. I enjoyed our little talk. I do too. We will.
Network. I'm old enough to remember the last time we had an exciting quarterback fall to the Cowboys when they came up. Have you guys gone through that scenario if there was an exciting quarterback like, say, Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders there at 12?
Yeah, well, we've got a major commitment with Dak, and so you weigh all of that. And but I was going to add to this whole conversation. It's very often that somebody will step up and say, "Now we got this guy right here. We've got him, and we just signed him under contract."
Hold on a second. Is this a real thing? Is Jerry Jones secretly plotting? It's never just football, you bet. It's a circle with crazy choices and dollar signs. The problem is that Shedeur Sanders is a part of his secret scheme. Furthermore, the entire situation is so ridiculous that Kevin Stefanski appeared to have just disconnected his headphones. Only Jerry could have orchestrated the level of chaos we're talking about. It's meme-worthy. Hold on tight, because this proposal has the potential to completely transform Dallas.
Is it the love affair that we have? What? And I have always admired him, both on and off the field. Ooh. I said, that's hard.
In some way, the Cleveland Browns fell into a miracle. No, not surviving another draft catastrophe, not winning a coin flip, a true miracle. It is possible that they have at last acquired a quarterback who does not collapse as soon as the game becomes intense. When Shedeur Sanders appears, he appears composed, launches lasers, and all of a sudden, Cleveland supporters are using the term hope as if it were an antiquated relic they had forgotten how to use. The young man appears to be a franchisee. The NFL's favorite oil tycoon turned cartoon villain then chooses to stick his nose in just as the dog pound begins to imagine something more than hopeless. Jerry Jones is observing. In addition to merely observing, he is planning, whispering, and plotting like a villain in a soap opera who controls the camera crew and the studio.
And that's what I respect the most about Shedeur, about Shiloh, and also about Prime. They know who they are. They don't waver away from it.
They have to remember, you don't get to write your plans in pen. Only
Jones is a man who treats football like a Broadway theater, complete with expensive concessions and a stage large enough to accommodate all of his fears. Jerry wasn't just intrigued when Shedeur Sanders' name began to circulate outside of Cleveland. Jones not only owns the Cowboys, he owns the limelight. He was energized as if someone had pressed the button on his billion-dollar yacht to inflate his ego.
Have the 9th hardest schedule this season, and the Cowboys have the 10th. That's where we're headed now. The public saga continues between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons as the team has not gotten any closer to reaching a new contract since Micah requested a trade on August 1st. Here's Jerry's latest comments on Micah.
Nothing.
So why don't you talk?
Again, nothing would be that, and we might or might not talk. And the rest of that gets in what we do every day.
You think that talks would pick up a little bit with him?
I don't know that necessarily talks will, but we've got a game coming and he's under contract.
Jerry believes that quarterbacks are more than simply football athletes. They are walking cleats and ATMs. Additionally, Shedeur is essentially Bitcoin with a flawless spiral. More than just a quarterback is visible to Jerry. He sees an empire, a brand, and a franchise. Don't bother reading defenses. Shedeur can star in a Netflix documentary series and sell jerseys in Tokyo before Sunday Night Football even starts. Jerry's eyes brighten in a way that only a man who previously erected a monument to himself worth $1.3 billion could.
Tell the truth, does this surprise you guys that Shedeur Sanders, pick number 144, is now the best-selling jersey of the draft class?
No, No, and this is why he's going to be a Cleveland Brown. I think he's going to be on the roster no matter what. Because at the end of the day, I do think he has a safe floor at quarterback, but those type of things, moving the needle, moving dollars around and being relevant as a friend.
Naturally, however, subtlety dies the instant Jerry detects an opportunity. It would constitute tampering if he simply made a regular phone call. Even though Jerry has the morals of a used car salesman at an ethics convention, he is aware that he is being watched closely. Thus, he uses his imagination. Whispers, anonymous meals, enigmatic sources, and third-party intermediates all abruptly emerge as Dallas's most popular dinner guests. It's all cloak and dagger bullshit, but with far worse lighting and far more money.
One of them is coming in right now.
Very easy to be the top pick in the draft.
Nice to see you.
The kicker comes next. Shedeur Sanders, a member of the Cowboys royalty, and Jerry's former lover. The man who helped establish Dallas as a major television network before Netflix even existed. Shedeur has a long history with Jerry, and Prime is the moniker Jerry still listens to after all these chaotic decades. Therefore, Jerry doesn't only listen when Shedeur begins to casually bring up his son's name. He begins creating designs for the empire. Scouting is not what this is. This is Jerry writing the screenplay for his last performance. The way Jerry presents it all as a football requirement is what makes this so absurd. A quarterback of the future is what the Cowboys need. The state of Dak's contract is chaotic. The NFC East is a vicious place. Doesn't that make sense? False. Since the Clinton administration, logic and Jerry Jones have not been in the same room together. Not your typical 2 picks and a backup arrangement. The package that Jerry is proposing would make even the Herschel Walker trade appear insignificant. Wall Street would sweat over the numerous starters, first-round picks, and financial gymnastics. To place Shedeur in a star helmet, he is prepared to sell his soul, torch his own hat, and gut his own rooster. He's so far gone.
I have primetime Shedeur Sanders as a head coach. What? That would be crazy.
Whoa.
Is Jerry Jones crazy enough to do something like that someday?
No, but he does know how to spell well enough and not answer a hypothetical question.
Cleveland, meanwhile, is subtly destroying itself. To build around Shedeur and finally enjoy a quarterback without also needing a therapist, one part of the front office wants to protect him. The other side is seeing branding opportunities, licensing agreements, and dollar signs. All franchises' Browns are suddenly questioning their ability to become a marketing powerhouse. That's a spoiler. They can't. If their lives were on the line, Cleveland would not be able to sell oceanfront real estate in Hawaii. However, that doesn't end the internal conflict. Coaches are interested in growth. Dollar bills appeal to executives. Shedeur, a rookie who only wants to play football while billionaires swarm about him like vultures at a Texas barbecue, is caught in the center of all of this chaos. It's the traditional extended game of Jerry Jones. Tomorrow, he won't need it. Next week, he won't need it. He will wait. He will sow seeds, whisper in ears, and bide his time until the ideal accident, contract conflict, or leak occurs. And then, bam. Jerry doesn't think about winning. His goal is immortality. He wants to be known as the guy who outwitted everyone, elevated the Cowboys beyond the game, and transformed football into a spectacle. He believes that Shedeur is the link, the cornerstone, and the secret to turning the Cowboys into not only America's team, but the team of the entire planet.
The last 2 minute drive, you don't give it to him? Come on, man, make it make sense. They don't want that boy in Cleveland. We know they don't want him in Cleveland. They do it. Now, that's dirty. That's 2 L's they got to hold. Right? He did, but come on, man. You don't want, like he said, though, they don't want to have a quarterback controversy. That's cute and all. But nah, you got to get to the smoke. But, it's a silver lining in all this in the end for your boy. I think, personally, this is my take. This is going to blow your mind. He's going to end up with Jerry Jones in Dallas. Why, you say? Jerry loves.
This grand scheme hinges on a rookie quarterback avoiding Jerry's limelight. So let's take a moment to laugh. Quarterbacks are not developed in Dallas. In record time, it spits them out after chewing them up. The Dallas media apparatus will treat Shedeur like a failed reality show competitor, if he even makes one poor selection. Additionally, Jerry, who once refused to give Jimmy Johnson credit for winning Super Bowls, believes he will play puppet master over Deion Sanders' child. The belief that the Browns' front staff can come to a wise, coordinated choice is the only thing more irrational than that. NFL sanctions and Jerry being regarded as the megalomaniac who blew it all up for a midlife crisis, rather than as the genius who created an empire. He will be remembered as the owner who made America's team the subject of national jokes, not to mention the NFL itself. This type of turmoil is abhorred by the league. They want exchanges to be sterilized, clean, and press released. Like a Bond villain, Jerry is out here conducting covert dinner meetings. The league's hammer falls the moment someone breathes the incorrect name into a hot mic or releases a text. Tampering with investigations, penalties, charges, and anything else. Jerry will also portray it as the league's attempt to contain his brilliance. Jerry sees speed bumps because he doesn't perceive rules.
Jones' comments on this Micah Parsons trade have me confused. We all know Jerry Jones is in the media way too much, but him coming out saying essentially we got rid of Micah Parsons because we need to stop the run. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, now Russell Wilson. Some of the top quarterbacks in the NFL in your division. So you got to stop the run, but these dudes can throw all over.
The most absurd aspect is that Jerry genuinely thinks controversy is a component of the strategy. He consumes it. To be relevant, the Cowboys don't need to win Super Bowls. All they have to do is remain noisy. Jerry is essentially handed a flamethrower to play with within a pyrotechnics warehouse when Shedeur is included. Whether the Cowboys win or lose, Jerry will enjoy the attention as the self-proclaimed ruler of chaos he has always desired. Here's the awful irony, though. Shedeur is merely attempting to survive, while Jerry is out here playing billionaire chess. This was not what he requested. He didn't ask to be the main character in Jerry's farewell performance. All he wanted to do was play football, step out of his father's shadow and prove himself. With Deion looming in the background, he is currently the focus of multi-billion-dollar plotting, legacy conflicts, and a Shakespearean-caliber family drama. Because let's face it, the fans also notice when things get serious. That unsettling feeling where everyone acts as though nothing is wrong, but knows in their hearts that a storm is on its way. You can see the weight on Shedeur's shoulders even though he arrives at practice every day as if nothing had changed. Because your life is no longer normal when Jerry Jones puts your name on his vision board.
Asked a direct question about, has he had a chance to get up with Shedeur and Shedeur throwing some passes? And you heard what Jerry Jeudy said. We throw the ball around a little bit, and Shedeur has an arm. He said Shedeur has one of the best arms.
Thus, we find ourselves on the brink of a trade rumor that seems more like Shakespeare and shoulder pads than football. The elderly king, Jerry Jones, is anxious to establish his legacy before the credits roll. The prodigal prince, Shedeur Sanders, bears the burden of expectations and ancestry. Cleveland, the broken kingdom, isn't sure if they should pay out for a marketing fantasy or keep their golden boy safe. It all comes together to become the most recent soap opera in the NFL. Suddenly, the Browns' locker room seemed more like a Cleveland-set episode of Succession than a football squad. Half of the coaching staff wants to give Shedeur the reins and let him create the future. The other half was already figuring out how many luxury boxes could be sold if Jerry Jones showed up with his cowboy hat and pocketbook full of oil money while they were glued to spreadsheets and dollar signs. At this stage, the Waterboys most likely had consultants from hedge funds whispering in their ears. That was the extent of the paranoia. Sadly, Shedeur, the man holding the football, is standing in the center of this circus as if it were a sign, according to the Dallas media. Half of the league's executives began upgrading their resumes if he wore cowboy boots.
Guys get hurt. So you bet your whole house that you got him, and then all of a sudden you don't have him. So that's when your old mind starts saying, well, if this guy did get hurt, what would we do this year?
At this point, Jerry's vision shifts from being ambitious to being blatantly Shakespearean. Shedeur was more than just another quarterback in his mind. He was the one selected. the prodigal prince with the potential to perpetuate the Cowboys dynasty forever. Do not think of Dak Prescott. Put an end to the cycle of playoff letdowns. Ignore the reality that Dallas hasn't had true glory since the days of VHS. No, Jerry viewed Shedeur as a means of manipulating time. The Cowboys would be more than just a football team if Jerry could sign him. They would be a worldwide empire, a religion, or an endless Disney film series. Naturally, Jerry wouldn't stop it since he was Jerry. Off now. He intended to make a deal so ludicrous that the sheer insolence of it would cause Wall Street to collapse. He was rumored to have offered a top defensive player, 3 first-round picks, and possibly even a lifetime supply of brisket to sweeten the pot. You might definitely hear him ask, "What if I toss in the entire practice facility or my yacht?" over the phone, if you pay close enough attention. Football was no longer the only topic of discussion. This concerned who would be in charge of the story, who would be positioned beside Jerry when the cameras rolled, and who would be featured in the ESPN documentary in 20 years.
About Shedeur Sanders, like I've stated in these previous videos, it's all lies. It's all smoke and mirrors. Jerry Jeudy just verified that. He's a wide receiver. He's the one catching the ball from Shedeur. So he knows what that arm strength is. He knows what that arm talent is. A lot of stuff that's been lied about Shedeur, all the collusion. We heard what Eric Dickerson said. Fix was in. But it sounded like Jerry Jeudy said, man, Shedeur is a baller. Shedeur got a bright future. It's almost like he's saying, man, he's our guy.
And the NFL was sweating like crazy. Oh boy, rumors of tampering began to spread like confetti following a Cowboys playoff defeat. A major scandal was forming for the league if Jerry was actually calling up Deion, working back channels, slipping notes under the table and making promises that sounded suspiciously like bribes. Here's the problem though. We're referring to Jerry Jones here. Ever since pagers existed, the man had been breaking the rules. How will the NFL respond? Locate him? Put him on suspension? Please. Jerry would simply purchase the elegant office space, rename it the Jerry Jones Center for Creative Accounting, and continue to operate it. The stakes were ridiculously high because of this. It would be the kind of action that changed the course of NFL history if Jerry succeeded in getting Shedeur Sanders to wear a Cowboys uniform. Consider the headlines. Consider the sales of jerseys. Imagine Jerry enjoying a whiskey in his private suite while beaming like the Joker, knowing that he has just pulled off the biggest theft of the century. The prodigy caught in the center is Shedeur. A young man is drawn into billionaire power plays while merely attempting to play the game. As a divided kingdom, the Browns struggle between ambition and loyalty, since they knew that their decision would affect their future for many years. It was Julius Caesar-style drama, minus the Gatorade and shoulder pads. Over the following 2 years, we will also receive 4 first-round selections. We don't just do that. Nothing prevents us from using part of those specifications at this time.